What's up, y'all? It is opening afternoon here in North Carolina, and we are finally headed to the woods. I have yet to step foot in the woods at all this year so far, so it's going to be a real interesting year. I didn't hunt this morning specifically because I haven't been in the woods at all, so I didn't have anywhere to really go, and I decided to sleep in and hang out with my crew, and then get all my stuff squared away before I got out. So not much is new this year from a gear perspective. I've got some Latitude Carbon SS sticks, but still waiting on a couple of things for those. Get those put together this week, and then hopefully within the next couple weeks we'll take those out. But other than that, got a new DJI Action 5 Pro that I'm using instead of the GoPro with a mic setup, so hopefully you guys will be able to hear me better. And yeah, headed out to some public land. It's really early in the afternoon, it's 2 o'clock, so I've still got about 5.5 hours until sunset, which means I've got plenty of time to get in and hopefully find a place to set up. Whether we see something or not today, I'm excited to be back out in the woods, excited for another season of deer hunting, and looking forward to what's in store. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned. It's been a couple years since I've been in here. This was a clear cut probably about 3 years ago now, so it's pretty open, and the feed area is kind of, you can see behind me, is real thick in between. So I think this is actually going to be a lot better this year than I anticipated, and maybe this camera back here is going to have some good stuff on it. I do have a Multi Edge in my backpack, fresh batteries, ready to roll. So if I find anything worth setting up on or worth putting a camera on, here's a good deer trail. I'm ready to roll. All right, so got the camera, and now we're gonna head down into the thicker stuff. Nothing really that exciting. I found a good area a little while ago, but it was really open, so not really thinking that it's gonna be too good. Well, I would say our first hunt of 2025 is a success. I didn't kill a big buck, didn't see a deer, but I think we've got some spots checked off, but also I've might have found a pretty good spot to set up later in the year, so we'll see. Obviously going to depend on some of what the camera says. Thankful for technology that can help me scout while I'm working like crazy. So gonna head home and hang out with the family, prep a sermon for tomorrow, and maybe get back after it tomorrow afternoon. We'll see. If not, we will talk to you guys again in a few weeks. What's up, y'all? It is Sunday, September the 28th, and I am finally gonna go sit in a tree. It's been a crazy busy month of September for me so far. Haven't had an opportunity to get out in the woods until today, so really excited to get out and see what we can find. But the plan is to go set up where I pulled that camera from last week. There was just a lot of deer on it, and since there were a lot of deer on it, that means there were a lot of deer around there, which for tonight's hunt, that's kind of my biggest goal. I just want to get in, practice getting up the tree, see some deer, and go from there. We'll see what happens tonight. Really, just really happy to be able to get out and get in the woods. Alright, so we're set up in kind of near where my camera was before. My camera was over there in, I think, one of the those trees. Might have been further over, but anyways, all the deer were filtering down along that edge into
movement over there, like a little white flash, but it's so thick it's going to be hard to see until it's close. Just have to be ready. Alright, the sun is setting on another awesome day in the woods. No official deer sightings, but I definitely had some deer, and behind me it's just too thick to be able to see back there. So, really excited about that. And they're in here. I just picked the wrong draw. So we're probably about another 10 minutes, and it'll be past shooting light, and we'll climb down, pack up, and sneak out of here. You can hear Taco Bell calling my name. Wife and son are out of town, so I'm flying solo for dinner, which means Taco Bell it is.
What is going on, y'all? It is oh, I forgot I had all these water bottles. It is Friday afternoon, October the 3rd. I left work not as early as I wanted to, but early enough that I'm going to get out and do some hunting. I tried this for the first time, this Sawyer Picard insect repellent. Heard it or saw it on the Southern Outdoorsman, and maybe it was Hunting Public. I don't know. They both talk about Sawyer, but man, this stuff is awesome. It's worked really good last week when my Thermacell didn't work right, but I've got the correct Thermacell this time. My backup Thermacell is on the fritz, so we'll fix that later. Maybe I'm going to go in like I'm going to the creek, and then see how much time I've got and see what time it is, and then maybe in the beeline and sit on the saddle that was behind me on Sunday where I heard all those deer. So excited, gonna get ready, and we will catch you once we start walking into the woods. Now we're really cooking with gas. We've got a working Thermacell, we've got our mic, got our watch, or we've got our camera, which is my phone, got this camera. I think we're heading in the right direction. So let's see if we can't find some deer and maybe put one on the ground. Catch you guys in a little bit when I get to the tree, or when I make a different decision about where I'm going to end up. Alright, so we're set up in the tree, not where I had planned to be. I had planned to be about, well, my first goal was to get way down, but I got here too late, like I said. So second goal was to be about 300 yards that way, where there's a small saddle, but I was coming along the edge of this drainage to try to sneak around where I think there's some bedding, and noticed that there's really like 2 or 3 really good trails going back into the drainage, and then on the other side of the drainage there's a very short area of unclear-cut woods and then private land. So I'm hoping that the deer will funnel from the clear cut in front of me that's really thick, it's a couple years old, into this area to go over to the private for water and food. But I don't know, we'll see. It's a weird setup. The tree's leaning really bad, as you can tell. I've got the this camera is up on my gear strap, or I guess it's more like a gear cord. But yeah, so we're set, we're in, and I'm pretty hopeful for this spot. It's really thick in here. I can't see very far around me. I can see far in front of me, kind of, but I think this is a pretty good funnel. So, alright, just to go over the setup. I'm holding the camera, so it might be awkward, but it's a clear cut out in there, and I think there's some bedding about maybe 150, 200 yards that way. I got in here real quiet. The only noise I made was breaking this limb off. And then the trails kind of come from that way over here, and then from that way in here, and they cut through down into there. So wind's in my face this way. If they come from that way, I've basically got that shooting lane, but if they come from that way, I've got a pretty good shooting lane, and I can kind of hide behind the tree. So I am vertical, and you can see that
this tree is real awkward, but we're gonna make it happen. So looks like my phone's trying to run away along my on my camera arm. But all right, I'm gonna settle in. Probably gonna put my sweatshirt on, and oh wait, let's do it later. And get ready. Hopefully we'll get some action. Well, I was in the right spot. Just had 2 does come through. One of them was a really good size. Pretty upset. But I was fiddling with my camera arm and they busted me. So they didn't blow though. There's more deer out here. I think they'll probably funnel through here. So we're gonna keep our eyes peeled. Get ready to make it happen. Still no more deer, but I can hear the acorns hitting the ground behind me. So at least until they stop dropping, I think we're in a good spot. So I'm kind of scanning to see if there's a better tree for the morning. But probably gonna set up here in the morning as well. So half the battle is finding the deer for me. So now we just have to figure out how to kill them. I think this is gonna be a pretty good plan for this year. Just kind of bounce up and down the edges of these creek bottoms and drainages really. And hit the creek bottom some too, but bounce up and down the edge of these drainages and really just hope I'm in the right spot at the right time. I'm gonna pull everything down from here, and I'm gonna just kind of go straight behind me to where I've been hearing all the acorns drop and hearing some deer. So maybe I'll bum some on my way out, maybe not, but I'm gonna try to find a tree that I can set up in for the morning, mark it on Spartan Forge, and then try to slide in here in the morning and see what I can take out. So good night, beautiful night in the woods, pretty calm. Starting to get chilly, which is awesome. So exciting things. Second hunt, already seeing deer.
All right, so let me put my hat back on. All right, so I wanted to just say a couple things before headed home for the evening. I'd call it a really good hunt. I got busted messing with my camera arm, which definitely a learning experience. Got busted climbing down, so there were definitely more deer in the area, and I'm wondering if that was potentially a buck. I really don't know. Like I was saying I was gonna do, I walked back in that area, and it's honestly so thick in there that at least with a headlamp I couldn't see anywhere to set up to shoot to. So we'll probably gonna set up in the same general location as tonight. Tomorrow morning, maybe I'm gonna find a different tree. I've got a couple of potential options, but we'll see. So yeah, happy about tonight, excited, saw some deer, found some deer, and just got to keep bouncing around till the stars align. So yeah, time to head home, eat dinner, do some church stuff, and hit the hay to get up and do it again in the morning. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys in the morning. Later.
What's up, y'all? It is Saturday morning. I don't know why I'm whispering. I might drop. Saturday morning, the 4th of October. Yeah. I'm gonna sneak back into where we were last night. I think I'm gonna find a different tree because I think I was too close to the trail that they use to get in and out of the food. Should be a good morning. It's beautiful. It's about, I don't know, maybe 50 degrees, 55. It's gonna get up to the 80s today, but this morning it's nice and chilly. You can see my breath, and can't wait to get out into the tree. So we're gonna keep getting ready, see if I can find my other gator for my other leg, and talk to you guys when we get to the tree. We're up in the tree. Dropped my camera arm, so probably won't be filming much today, but I'm kind of in a observation type spot. It's really open where I'm at, so I don't want to move much. But I do have a small maple kind of shielding me a little bit, so I should be kind of right near where the deer come through, at least where they came through last night. So hopefully when they're going from food to bed, I'll be able to catch them and see where they go through, and then either make a set or figure out a setup for tonight, or put that in my pocket for later or next year. Alright, so good morning. It is Saturday morning, October 4th. I think we talked about that, but why am I here? So there were a couple of trees that I wanted to set up in. First of all, the tree I was in is about 30 yards that way. And the deer come out, I think, right below it, so I didn't want to set up in that tree again. I almost set up in, I think, that pine tree right there. But there's a really good trail right at the base of it, so I didn't want to do that. And there really weren't any other good options right along the edge. The wind's coming like from this way to that way, so I had to kind of be on this side of where all the trails seem to be. There's a couple of does working their way through. The first one's pretty good size, so if they come close, I don't know that I can keep myself away. So I just had 3 more does come in and work their way through. And man, they're so smart. The 2 young ones were kind of dumb. They came in within 10 yards of me, but Mama doe stayed out. Me and she was within shooting distance. I had probably 10 opportunities to shoot her. I don't know how I would have gotten drawn, but I probably could have made it happen. But she wasn't so sure. She kept looking up at me and, you know, wide out in the open, right? I'm not very well hidden, but I think obviously I'm hidden enough. But she came in and went downwind of me, and as soon as she caught my wind, she was gone. She didn't blow or anything, but she did not waste time. So, all right, so it's about to be breakfast time, if you know what I mean. So we're gonna call it a morning. It's definitely taken me a while to find these North Carolina deer and get on them, but pretty happy with how this year's going so far. Best time of the year. Doesn't get much better than this. What's up, y'all? It's Saturday evening, October 4th. We're gonna try to sneak in here. It's a lot later than I wanted to get in, but I still think I can sneak in, get up a tree. I already know exactly which tree I'm going up, so just need to get there cleanly and quietly and get up the tree and get set up before the deer start coming through. Alright, so we're in the tree and set up. I'm pretty hidden, but I think I'm going to be real close to the deer trail, real close to the bedding, and right where the deer came through this morning. So if a good-sized doe comes through, I'm at least going to try. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted. Alright, let's go over the setup a little bit. So I was in a tree right there last night, and then I was over there somewhere this morning. The couple of does that I saw came through right here. And there's doe bedding up there about 60 or 70 yards. So I'm pretty happy with how clean I got in. So I just need to really be careful about and pay attention when they start coming through. Just from a background perspective, there's this tree right behind me breaking up that silhouette, and then I've got these couple of oak trees as well breaking up my silhouette in that direction. So I'm kind of in the middle of the clear cut, but I'm hidden pretty well. I'm not sure I've seen deer 3 hunts in a row except for outside of Michigan yet, so we'll see what happens. But either way, we're getting there. I keep hearing what sounds like a buck grunt out in that direction. I can't see any movement, so probably a bird or something. It's getting close to dark. No dice this evening, it looks like, so not a big deal. Probably just hunted in this little area too much. Definitely a good spot to come back to for the pre-rut time frame in between. Some really thick cover and bedding, so another good day in the woods. Catch you guys on the next one.